What's going on, Legionnaires, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, and make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. Now, with this video, we're going to be jumping into the Infinite Frontier with Harley Quinn, issue number 3. And if you haven't been keeping up on this line, go ahead and check out the link in my description, as well at the top of this video. It's going to get you completely caught up on everything that's been going on in this awesome line. Now, this is written by Stephanie Phillips. Pencils are Riley Rossmo, and inks are the same. And with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright guys, so as we jump into issue number 3, it's relatively an uneventful issue. There isn't a whole lot going on in this one, but it picks us up at the Safe headquarters in Gotham. Now, Safe is the Hugo Strange program that's currently going on to try to reform the previous Joker minions. And that's exactly what we see taking place. Hugo Strange is trying to get the dosage correct on how to properly turn these guys, but he keeps getting the dosage too high. It's too strong, and these individuals that get injected, they end up going crazy. They end up just losing it, and they may end up dying, but it doesn't necessarily show them dying. It just shows them completely losing it and having to be restrained. And so they're gonna have to continue on with these trials. But one of their big issues right now is that they're behind schedule. Not only are they behind schedule, but they're also needing more quote-unquote patience, if you will. But this is when Hugo Strange, he asks if they've been keeping tabs on Harley Quinn like he had asked. And he tells the orderly, like, I need you to go retrieve her. You need to go do this personally. It's time that we bring Harley Quinn in and use her in these experiments. Because at this point, Hugo Strange is tired of looking like a joke and Harley Quinn being the one behind it. And so his objective here is to get her captured, bring her in, and start injecting her with whatever this stuff is that Hugo Strange is using on all of the prior Joker soldiers. But this is where we pick up with Harley Quinn. And Harley Quinn, she set up a kind of meeting, her and Kevin. And this is a meeting for people that were under the influence of Joker at any point in time. Now, Harley Quinn comes bashing through the door, expecting there to be a bunch of people ready to talk about their feelings, but she's kind of let down when she sees that there is only Kevin here. But he tries to encourage her by letting her know that they're probably just fashionably late. Now at this point, Harley Quinn, she's really let down. You know, she's really trying to turn a new leaf. She's trying to be a better person. And she thinks that starts by helping others work through their trauma. Because at the end of the day, she does have a PhD. She was a licensed psychiatrist for some time. And so she really feels like this is her best way to give back to the community in some kind of way or fashion, and it helps her image. It helps them see her in a better light. And as they sit here and discuss this a little bit further, this is when we see the arrival of the first individuals, and everybody starts to show up. And Harley Quinn, she's excited. You know, she's excited that people want to get help. And not only do they want to get help, but she's going to be the one to be able to help them. And so everybody sits down. They sit down and they start having kind of like a round circle conversation with Harley Quinn opening it up. But she opens it up horribly well. We can tell that she's extremely nervous, but she is doing her best to try to get through her notes, only to have her notes fall out of her hands. And this is where she kind of wings it and lets them know that it's weird to sit in a circle with strangers and talk about your feelings. You know, it's weird for Harley Quinn as well, because she's definitely not one of the best at expressing her feelings. But she's here because she truly does want to help everybody find a way to deal with the things that they saw, or maybe bad decisions that they decided they were gonna do. You know, Harley Quinn is the queen of bad decisions. And so she hopes that this may be able to lead to a way they can all support one another. And she asks anybody if they're willing to introduce themselves and, you know, just give a little more information about who they are and what brings them here today. And at first, everybody, they're very silent. Nobody really wants to talk about this, but one individual does. One man says, you know, he's going to go first. And he lets us know that his name is Eric, and he's been thinking for so long, you know, after everything that the Joker did, after everything that Joker made them do, how they twisted his head and everything, you know, he starts to think that maybe Hugo Strange and his safe program, maybe they have a point. You know, maybe the clowns don't deserve to be normal. And this is where we see the orderly Lockwood. And he's been hiding out here the entire time. He's been wearing a hoodie and hiding his face so that Harley can't recognize him. But when this man Eric says this, Lockwood, he kind of speaks up and says that they don't deserve to be normal. And he's saying that pretty much all the clowns, they need to be locked up. And this is when Harley Quinn, she finally recognizes that it's freaking Lockwood. And he lets them know that, you know, him and Hugo Strange, they believe that they're the only ones that can help the clowns. And that's by putting them in padded cells. And so he's come here today to help bring these criminals to justice. And just like that, before anything can happen, before Harley Quinn really pieces together what's about to happen, we see a crap ton of orderlies with cattle prods come running in the room. They've come to take up everybody in here because pretty much everybody in here was a clown or is guilty of being associated with it. And for Hugo Strange, these are just new test subjects. These are new people to experiment on. And we see people getting hit with cattle prods left and right, and Harley Quinn doing her best to try to beat the crap out of all of these guys. And slowly, one by one, they're getting drugged outside and getting thrown into a van. And Harley Quinn, she's doing her best to try to hold them off, but there's a lot of these guys. There's too many for one individual to try to take on, and most of the people here aren't defending themselves in a manner that's going to be able to get them free. And this is where we see Lockwood pull out a stun gun and shoot Harley Quinn with it, and Harley Quinn drops to the ground. And so they pick her up and start dragging her outside, but she's not knocked out. She's been faking it, playing possum, and this is where she gets up and starts beating the crap out of more of them. And this is when Lockwood intervenes. And Lockwood and Harley Quinn are going toe-to-toe. Lockwood distracting Harley Quinn long enough for the orderlies to get people inside the vehicles, and they take off. But not without Harley Quinn running in hot pursuit behind them. Seeing Harley Quinn jump onto one of the vans and start beating the crap out of the guy in the passenger seat, we see Lockwood in another van making his way over to them, trying to get Harley Quinn off of this van. And so Harley Quinn leaping onto the van that Lockwood is driving, getting on top, bashing through the window, and Lockwood isn't paying attention to the road, and this is where he starts to loses control, and goes off of the road, ends up crashing the van. In this crash, we see Harley Quinn fly off of the van, and Lockwood come crawling out, calling out for Harley Quinn, looking around the van for her, but there is no sign of her. Harley Quinn is gone at this point. She's made her way underground into the sewers. She's kind of running away from this situation, which I don't really understand. I don't understand why she took off into the sewers when she was supposed to be helping and save her friends. And she ended up not doing that and just running away. But as she gets into the sewers, she's making her way through here, and this is when she runs into freaking Grundy. And that will be where this issue ends. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Like I said, this wasn't horribly eventful. You know, Harley Quinn, yeah, she's still trying to be a good person, and she went through all of this craziness only to leap off of the van and go into the sewers, which makes absolutely no sense to me. Why would you do that when you already crashed the vehicle? Now you just had to get your friends out of the car, you know, and you also didn't go back to check on the other van. So it just, you know, it leaves a lot of questions. It's kind of weird that they did that. You know, and Harley Quinn can't even take on one of Hugo Strange's henchmen, which I find very odd considering all the individuals that she has faced. But in better news, you know, Grundy showed up, which I'm super excited to see what Grundy's been up to, what he's doing down in the sewers, and maybe he's going to end up helping her out along the way. Who knows? But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you don't miss any of the awesome content we have coming out, and until the next breakdown,